What's up, guys, and welcome. My name is MotorCursed1, and I hope everybody's doing good out there. In this video, I'm sculpting this slimy snail beast. Ooh, now that's a menacing monster. Get on out of here! If you want to see how I did it, then check this out. So here I'm taking some aluminum foil, and I'm building an armature. I'm just gonna use this to bulk out the sculpture so I can use thin layers of clay and it won't take as long to bake. I'm gonna rough out the design the way I want it, and then after that we're gonna cover it with clay. Now that we're done with the armature, I'm just gonna use this Super Sculpey Original. It's a polymer clay that gets hard when you bake it in the oven. I feel quite comfortable using it, and I've built quite a few things out of it. So here I condition it and get it soft. I roll it out thin, pop any bubbles. I rub the surface with some Sculpey liquid clay or some baking powder. And just when you put the clay on, you just want to squeeze out any air that you could possibly get in there. You don't want any air pockets because that could crack in the oven. You know, it can make bubbles and cracks and holes and all kinds of stuff you don't want in your sculpture. You just want to cover the entire surface. And if you have any of your armature sticking through, you just grab a little piece of clay, stick it on where the armature is sticking through, and just blend it on in. No problem. That'll be the connection later on, those toothpicks. But right now, this is the gums for the top jaw. This little piece here is going to let me stab in some teeth later on. So I just roll out a little piece, stick it on there, and then blend in the edges. Just kind of blend it in on the inside of the mouth and blend it in on the outside of the face. And just smooth it out and make a nice connection. This little piece of foil and this little piece of clay is going to be his chin and his bottom jaw. So I just covered a little piece of foil with some clay and just stick it right on there. I roll out this little piece of clay and I just kind of jam it right in there, smash it into the gap, and then blend it in to his body and to his chin. Then I roll out another little piece of clay, put it over the top, and do the same thing. Just smash it into the gap and then smooth it into the inside of his mouth and just around the chin there, make a nice little connection. Take and roll out another piece and make the gums for his bottom jaw, giving us some place to stick in his bottom teeth. Do the same thing, just smooth it into the inside of his mouth, blend it into the outside of his chin, and there you go. Now I'm making some marks inside of his mouth, some little ridges. You probably can't see that too good because it looks like I got a really great shot on my hand. But hey, tattoos. Look at that. So now I take this piece that I rolled out and we'll roll out another piece about the same length, and these are going to go down the bottom of his body. I don't know, they look like they could help him move through the water maybe. So you could call them fins, I guess. Me, I call them flappers. I just smash down one side, smash down the edge, and smooth it out. Blend it in. Yeah, just get it nice and smooth there. And then I pinch it. I pinch it and then I flap it. Flappers. And I'm just gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'll grab the other piece and stick it on there, all the way down the side. Smash down the top edge. Yeah, get it nice and blended in. Take a little tool and kind of blend it. Get a good connection. Get it smoothed out. Pinch it and flap it. Flappers. These here are gonna be some neck wrinkles. I mean, look, some of us got them, right? So just stick them on there good and, you know, blend in one side and blend in the other side, and there we go. Neck wrinkles. Now this is what's gonna be the texture. I'm gonna stick this all over the snail. All these little clay balls that I rolled out in different sizes. But for this demonstration here, I'm just gonna stick a cluster on top of his head and show you what I'm gonna do with him. So we got this little cluster. Look at that. Now take my little tiny ball stylus here, and I'm just gonna kind of smash in between each one, making a good connection, and also making each piece not so round. Kind of gives it a little more character, I think, anyway. I'm just gonna go in between and make these little channels like this. Look at that. That's gonna be the texture for his entire body. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick all the rest of these balls on. So let's kick it into overdrive. Now that we got the textures all done with, it's gonna be time to stick his teeth in. So we put a little baking bond and just stab in the teeth. These teeth are made from SculpeyIII, the translucent kind. Just get them in there. And take a little more baking bond. And each tooth, just kind of stab it right in the gums. Like that. I made 8 for the top and 8 for the bottom, but only ended up putting 6 in the top and 8 in the bottom. It was an aesthetic choice. Now I'm going to take these little rolled out pieces of clay. I'm going to attach one side, and these are going to be his lips. And you might say, Mo, snails don't have lips. Well, they don't have big giant teeth either, but this one does. Just smooth it on one side there and kind of leave them a little up and down, a little curly like that. Makes it look a little more menacing. Do a little bit more refinement here on the textures. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put in some structures for his feelers, because he don't have no eyeballs. So I take a pin tool and then a drill tool, and then I stick a toothpick in it. 2 on his head, 1 on each side of his face. Now I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna brush the entire surface down with this clay thinner here, and that's gonna help me get all of the, well, maybe not all, but as many of the fingerprints out as I possibly can. And I baked it. Now it's baked and it's cooled down and it's completely hardened, and now don't have to worry about smashing any of these details while I'm working on the rest. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do these feelers now. And for these, look at this. I'm gonna use this here Super Sculpey Firm. Squeeze it. It's firm. So here I take some more baking bond, brush it on there, and then I stick the clay on. Try to squeeze out as much air as I possibly can, and just keep on smoothing it out. Add clay to it, smooth it out, keep shaping it until you get it to looking kind of how you want it to look. And then you just move on to the next one and do the same thing. Put some baking bond, smooth it out, squeeze the air out, smooth it out, add some clay, smooth it out, add some more, smooth it out. That's how it works. And just keep moving on and do it to everyone. Now that we got his feelers done, we can attach the shell with some more baking bond. We're going to stick the toothpicks back in here and guide them into the holes. Now we got his shell connected. And start working on the details of the shell. For this, I really had no idea what I was going to do. I just kind of winged it. All I knew is I had to build it up and keep working around in this spiral shape. So I'm taking and just take a little piece of clay that's thick on one side and thin on the other and stick it on and start making all these little ridges and little spiky things. Add more little pieces, making more little ridges, giving it a kind of bumpy texture. And just go all the way around, making little ridges and little spikes and getting it on. And when we get done with this part, it's pretty much a snail beast. Next time, it's gonna be time to bake him again. Now it's time to paint. This is my palette. It's a paper plate. I'm gonna use this Reeves acrylic. This crimson gonna be for the inside of the mouth. You can see I did that off camera and I forgot to turn it back on when I started with the black. But it's also Reeves acrylic. Now this black is the base coat for the shell. And you just want to get it in there as best as you can. Cover everything with black. Scrub it in there, brush it, poke it, just get it all covered. Now for the snail's body, we're going to use a different black. We're going to use this Arteza lustrous black, excuse me. This is the iridescent color, so it's got a color shift quality, and as you can see, it looks very blue, but it is black. But it looks nice and blue and shiny when the light shines on it. And it's just like the other black. You just want to get it in all the little grooves, get everything covered, because it's a base coat. And now that that's covered, we're going to go back to the Reeves, back to the same crimson that we just used for the mouth, and we're going to use a dry brushing technique on the shell. We're just going to go ahead and put some on the palette. And dry brushing means that the brush is dry. It means that I'm going to take and I'm going to dip it in the paint. I'm going to wipe most of the paint off and just have a little bit of paint in the brush and graze it over the surface. So I'm painting the whole thing, but I'm leaving all of the deepest areas of black. That's going to give it some depth. Now here we're going to do this luscious green from Arteza, and we're going to use the same dry brushing technique over the snail's body. I'm just going to dry brush it on and leave all those little channels that we just painted black as dark as we can leave them, and get as much of the green onto the surface as we possibly could get, to give it more depth. Now I took and made an orange color because these Reeves didn't come with one. So I took this here vibrant red and I took this here lemon yellow and mixed them together. It made me a nice little orange. You Gonna use the dry brushing technique again, and this is the highlights for the shell. So we're just gonna use it to brush it on to the highest raised areas of the shell. Highlights. I like that. So now this is the last part of the paint that we're gonna do. And this is Arteza Glittering Ocean Blue. This is gonna be for his lips and his chest. And his flappers. I like that. Alright, so it's completely painted now, and we're gonna go ahead and cover it with this Liquitex gloss varnish, and that's gonna give him the nice slick and shiny, slimy kind of look. Just gonna go ahead and cover the entire thing, the shell, the body. Now after I let this dry for 3.5 hours, I came back and I put another coat on just the body. I left the shell alone with one coat, and this is the final result. Alright guys, so that was the Snail Beast. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't seen my previous video where I drew my profile picture, you should check that out. I'll leave a link in the description, along with the list of all the materials I used in this project. If you want to see more art content, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. You can also find me on Instagram at MoTheCursed1. Now, that's going to wrap this one up, so until the next video, I'm MoTheCursed1. Peace out.